Alright, let's be honest. You're probably sitting there, maybe on your plush sofa, surrounded by all the hallmarks of modern home entertainment. You've got the gleaming 4K OLED TV dominating the wall, a soundbar that could probably register on the Richter scale, and a dizzying array of subscriptions to every streaming app under the digital sun. You're convinced, aren't you? You believe the great home theater war is over, and you, my friend, have unequivocally won. You've conquered buffering, vanquished pixelation, mostly, and tamed the beast of content discovery. But what if I told you that lurking in the dusty corners of cinematic history, there's a hulking 12-inch chunk of plastic from 1985 that can still show your flagship streamer a thing or two? I know it sounds like heresy. It sounds like I've spent too much time in the attic. But hear me out. Forget everything you think you know about obsolete technology for a moment. Clear your mind of preconceived notions about convenience and resolution numbers. Because today, we're going on a journey to rediscover an underdog, a forgotten champion. Stick around because I'm about to count down 5 genuinely compelling ways LaserDisc still absolutely beats streaming right here, right now. You might just find yourself questioning that victory of yours. Let's kick things off with something fundamental. The image. Modern streaming giants love to brag about their glorious 4K, their HDR, their Dolby Vision. And on paper, it sounds incredible, doesn't it? Billions of pixels, a wider color gamut, brighter highlights. But here's the dirty little secret they don't trumpet. They hurl that pristine digital signal through what I affectionately call a digital wood chipper. Its official name? Bandwidth limitations and aggressive compression algorithms. Imagine a beautiful, intricate painting. Now imagine trying to cram that painting through a tiny mail slot. To make it fit, you have to fold it, crease it, tear off bits, and then try to smooth it out on the other side. That's essentially what happens with streaming. To deliver that 4K signal across the internet without bringing the entire network to its knees, your streaming service has to compress it, often heavily. The result? Blocky shadows where subtle gradations of darkness should be. Faces that, in a wide shot, look less like human skin and more like wet watercolor, smeared and indistinct. Fine film grain, once a cherished characteristic of celluloid, gets utterly massacred. Smeared into a muddy mess or replaced by an artificial digital noise that just feels wrong. You get macro blocking in fast-moving scenes, a shimmering effect around fine details, and color banding that turns a smooth sunset into a series of ugly, distinct stripes. It's like your eyes are constantly trying to reassemble a puzzle where half the pieces are missing. Now let's talk about LaserDisc. LaserDisc video is fundamentally different. It's analog. There's no square grid of pixels trying to guess where the film grain ought to be. It just flows. Think of a photographic negative. The image isn't made up of discrete dots. It's a continuous spectrum of light and shadow, a smooth, unbroken wave of information. That's the essence of LaserDisc's analog picture. On a properly calibrated CRT television, yes, those old behemoths still have their place, or an expertly upscaled plasma display. The picture from a LaserDisc feels continuous, organic, and incredibly natural. It's like real celluloid doing a gentle fade, a smooth transition, instead of Lego bricks snapping together with visible seams. When you watch a well-kept LaserDisc, especially one from a good master, the picture can look shockingly cinematic. You'll notice subtle details in shadows that streaming often crushes into black. You'll see smooth color gradations that avoid the dreaded banding. There's an inherent softness, a lack of digital harshness, that makes the image feel less like a clinical reproduction and more like a window into the film's original intent. And crucially, there's no buffering wheel to interrupt your immersion. No macro blocking suddenly appearing in a dimly lit night scene. Just silky motion and a richness of color that your eye reads as film, not a highly compressed file struggling to maintain its integrity. It's the difference between hearing a story directly from the author's lips and reading a heavily summarized, poorly translated version online. The core narrative might be there, but all the nuance, all the poetry, all the feeling is gone. LaserDisc, in its own charmingly retro way, preserves that feeling. If the video is being put through a digital wood chipper, the audio often gets thrown into a sonic blender. Streaming audio is, to put it bluntly, often the MP3 of movies. It's convenient, it's small, it gets the job done, but it's missing a whole lot of stuff. You might not notice it at first, or perhaps only when you compare it directly to a higher fidelity source. But once you hear what you're missing, it's hard to unhear it. The dynamic range is often compressed, the subtle nuances of a film score get flattened, and the punch of sound effects feels, well, neutered. It's a compromise made for the sake of bandwidth, for ensuring that 1 million people can stream that blockbuster simultaneously without their internet connections collapsing. Here's where LaserDisc steps in, flexing its surprisingly robust audio muscles. Many LaserDiscs, particularly later releases, carry uncompressed PCM, pulse code modulation, stereo audio. Think of PCM as the digital equivalent of a master tape. Every single bit of information is there, untouched, unmolested. This is CD quality audio, folks, straight into your receiver. No extra compression to sneak past your phone speakers. No algorithms trying to guess what frequencies you won't miss. It's all there. And then there's the holy grail for many audiophiles. The original Dolby AC3 theatrical mix. Many LaserDiscs were released with full bitrate Dolby Digital 5.1 surround sound, often featuring the exact audio mixes that were played in cinemas. This means you're getting the director's intended soundscape with all its wide, dynamic range intact. Fire up a disc like James Cameron's The Abyss or Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park on a good sound system, and you won't just hear the movie. You'll feel it. The eerie, suspenseful silence that precedes a terrifying moment, followed by T-Rex footfalls that don't just play through your speakers but slam the entire room, rattling your teeth without sounding squashed or clipped. The subtle ambient sounds that build atmosphere, the intricate layers of a John Williams score, they all come through with a clarity and impact that streaming often struggles to replicate. It's the difference between hearing a live band in a fantastic acoustic hall and listening to a heavily processed, overcompressed track on tiny earbuds. Or to use a more visceral analogy. It's the difference between hearing a professional drummer lay down a complex, powerful beat on a meticulously tuned kit and a kid thumping on Tupperware containers. They both provide rhythm, sure, but one has soul, depth, and genuine impact, while the other is just a noise. LaserDisc audio, when done right, offers that soul, that depth. It's the sound of a film keeping its clothes on, unashamedly, gloriously. This one hits different, doesn't it? In the age of streaming, we've all experienced that gut punch moment. You settle down, popcorn in hand, ready to revisit that comfort movie, that beloved classic you've seen 100 times. You scroll through the library, only to find it's gone. Poof, vanished. One corporate tug-of-war, a licensing agreement expires, a rights holder decides to pull content for their own platform, and that film you plan to revisit is simply not there anymore. Streaming libraries rotate like a revolving door, and your access to content is always conditional. You don't own the movie. You're merely renting the privilege to watch it, and that privilege can be revoked at any moment without warning. LaserDiscs, on the other hand, are yours. Period. Full stop. They live on a physical shelf in your home, not in some nebulous cloud governed by a constantly shifting end-user license agreement. There's no internet outage that can suddenly block your access. There's no licensing spat between studios that can yank your favorite film from existence. There's no infuriating "this title is currently unavailable in your region" message that makes you question the very fabric of digital globalism. You walk over to your shelf, you pull out the disc, you pop it into the player, and the movie starts. Every single time. It's a simple, unadulterated pleasure. This isn't just about convenience. It's about ownership, permanence, and peace of mind. Your physical media collection is a fortress against the capriciousness of digital distribution. It's a tangible library that reflects your tastes, your history, your connection to cinema. And how long will they last? Well, scientists peg the lifespan of a properly stored LaserDisc at about a century in a cool, dark living room. That's a pretty good run, isn't it? Far outlasting any internet service provider, any streaming platform, and probably even your current television. In an increasingly ephemeral digital world, the LaserDisc stands as a defiant monument to permanence, a physical guarantee that your cinematic treasures will remain yours, on your terms, until the plastic itself finally gives up the ghost. It's not just a disc, it's a promise kept. Have you ever tried to frame step a cloud video? It's an exercise in frustration, isn't it? You drag the progress bar, hoping to land on that exact moment, only to be met with buffering hiccups, imprecise jumps, and a general sense of the platform fighting against your will. Modern streaming services, for all their supposed advancements, often treat you like a passive consumer, dictating how you interact with the content. LaserDisc players, particularly the higher-end models, offer a level of playback control that feels almost anachronistic in its precision. Many feature frame-accurate search, a true revelation for anyone who wants to dissect a film. You can literally type in 42318, representing a specific frame number, hit enter, and boom, you're staring at that exact celluloid frame, frozen in perfect clarity. No digital artifacts, no blurry motion, just the unadulterated image. This isn't just a niche feature. It's a superpower for film students analyzing cinematography, for trivia nerds settling debates, for pixel peepers admiring a specific detail, or even for aspiring filmmakers studying shot composition. It's a tool for true engagement with the art form, not just passive consumption. But the freedom doesn't stop there. Remember the days of DVDs and Blu-rays forcing you to sit through 6 unskippable copyright warnings, followed by a 3-minute trailer for a movie you'll never binge? LaserDisc laughs in the face of such digital tyranny. There are no forced previews, no unskippable ads, no content protection measures dictating your viewing experience. You are the master of your domain. Want to fast forward through the opening credits? Go for it. Need to freeze on a particular shot to appreciate the production design? Done. Want to flip the disc to side B mid-movie without being told to wait? Absolutely. Want to repeat a particularly impactful scene 50 times? The disc won't judge you. It obeys. It's like having a well-trained, loyal dog that responds to your every command, instead of a surly, digital gatekeeper that constantly throws up roadblocks and demands compliance. This level of uninhibited control, this pure, unadulterated access to the content on your terms, is a liberating experience that modern streaming simply cannot replicate. Okay, let's get a little philosophical here, a little less technical and a lot more human. There's an undeniable, almost primal satisfaction that comes with physical media. And with LaserDisc, that satisfaction is amplified tenfold. Sliding a massive, 12-inch platter out of its beautifully designed gatefold jacket isn't just an act. It's half the fun of the experience. It feels like you're handling something important, something substantial, a genuine piece of cinematic history. The weight of the disc, the expansive artwork, the often rich smell of the paper and plastic, it all contributes to a tactile, sensory engagement that streaming, by its very nature, completely bypasses. These aren't just bare discs in flimsy plastic cases. Multipack box sets sometimes ship with elaborate essays penned by film historians, reproductions of original lobby cards, rare production stills, and even miniature posters. These aren't just extras. They're treasures for movie nerds, offering deeper context and enriching your appreciation for the film. They transform a viewing session into an event, a journey into the film's creation and legacy. And then there's the famous disc flip. The first side ends. You don't just sit there waiting for the next episode to autoplay. You stand up. You might stretch your legs, refill your drink, maybe pour another glass of something nice. You walk over to the player, carefully open the tray, flip the disc, and resume. This interruption, far from being an annoyance, transforms into a ceremony. It's a deliberate pause, a moment to reflect on what you've just watched, to anticipate what's coming next. It forces intentionality. Streaming promises seamlessness, an endless scroll of content, but often delivers only fidgety, indecisive scrolling. LaserDisc, conversely, forces you to pick, to commit, to watch with purpose. It's an act of dedication, a conscious choice to engage with the art. This inherent physicality and the ritual it fosters are why collectors still hunt rare pressings the way vinyl heads chase those elusive Blue Note first pressings. There's a thrill in finding a pristine copy of a sought-after title, an excitement in acquiring a piece of history. The secondary market for LaserDiscs isn't just alive. It's humming nicely, driven by a passionate community of enthusiasts who recognize the unique value and charm these oversized discs offer. It's more than just watching a movie. It's curating an experience, building a physical legacy, and participating in a vibrant, niche culture. So, if any of this made you rethink that dead format label, if it sparked a flicker of curiosity about these magnificent platters, then do yourself a favor. Tap that subscribe button. We've got lots more retro tech deep dives on the way, and I'd absolutely love to have you along for the next disc spin, the next journey into forgotten tech. So we've covered the big five, but honestly, the rabbit hole goes deeper. LaserDisc is a format that just keeps on giving, especially when you dig into the nuances. For instance, some of the Japanese and Hong Kong discs carry alternate audio mixes that were never ported over to DVD, Blu-ray, or, heaven forbid, streaming. Imagine getting an original mono track that perfectly captures the soundscape of a classic film, or a unique foreign dub that offers a completely different, sometimes even preferred, viewing experience. These aren't just curiosities. They're vital pieces of cinematic history, preserved on these 12-inch wonders. And speaking of hidden gems, many discs hide Easter egg still frames. These aren't your typical digital Easter eggs that are just a few clicks away. We're talking about actual, physical still frames of deleted shots, production sketches, or behind-the-scenes photos, tucked away in the vertical blanking interval of the analog signal. Discovering these requires a bit of savvy and often a specific player feature, but the reward is immense, a genuine peek behind the curtain, a secret shared only with those dedicated enough to find it. It's like finding a hidden passage in a video game, an unexpected delight. Then there's the hardware itself. LaserDisc players are, for the most part, built like absolute tanks. We're talking metal faceplates, hefty power transformers, robust internal mechanisms designed to last. They were engineered in an era when electronics were expected to be repaired, not simply replaced. These machines can outlast 3 generations of glitchy, disposable streaming dongles and flimsy set-top boxes. While a modern streamer might become obsolete and unrepairable in a few years due to firmware updates ceasing or components failing, a LaserDisc player from the 80s or 90s can still be purring along happily today. And if something does go wrong, the community is vibrant. Parts are still readily available on eBay, belts are cheap, lasers can be replaced, and capacitors are standard. Crucially, the service manuals, detailed blueprints of these machines, are often available as PDFs floating around in fan forums. This means that with a little patience and a soldering iron, you can often bring a non-functioning player back to life. Try saying that about a broken 2018 streaming dongle with no firmware updates, no spare parts, and a manufacturer who's moved on to the next iteration. LaserDisc ownership isn't just about the media. It's about embracing a philosophy of repairability and longevity. Alright. Before you rush out to your local thrift store with visions of analog grandeur dancing in your head, let's be real for a moment. This isn't a perfect format, and it's certainly not for everyone. I know there are going to be some folks in the comments ready to pounce, so let's get the caveats out of the way right now so you don't feel the need to at me. First off, LaserDisc is not portable at all. This isn't something you're going to slip into your backpack for a cross-country flight. These players weigh 15 to 20 pounds minimum. Shipping a box set feels less like mailing a package and more like sending a paving slab. This is a dedicated home theater experience, and it demands a certain level of commitment and physical space. Secondly, that disc flipping we talked about earlier, while I framed it as a charming ceremony, it can also be an interruption. A movie can span 2 sides or even 2 discs, meaning you might have to get up and switch midway through. So no binge autoplay here. If you're used to seamless, uninterrupted consumption, this might feel like a chore. And yes, the format is dead in terms of new releases. LaserDisc production officially stopped in 2001. So, if you're hoping to watch Barbie or Dune, Part 2 on the format, you're out of luck. The library is finite, a snapshot of cinema up to the turn of the millennium. If you demand the absolute latest blockbusters, streaming is, unequivocally, your only option. However, and this is the crucial point, none of these very real drawbacks erase the 5 fundamental advantages we just covered. They simply frame the discussion. They highlight that LaserDisc isn't a replacement for streaming. It's an alternative, a complementary experience for a specific kind of cinephile. These are edges that matter deeply to people who value permanence over ephemerality, who prioritize curiosity and discovery over sheer convenience, and who appreciate a certain vibe, a particular aesthetic, that modern digital formats often sacrifice. It's about choosing the right tool for the right job, or more accurately, the right experience for the right mood. So, where does that leave us? Think of it this way. Streaming is a sprawling, all-you-can-eat hotel buffet. It's endless, it's undeniably convenient, and you can always find something to sate your hunger. Sometimes you even stumble upon something genuinely tasty. But often it's a bit generic, a bit processed, and the quality can be inconsistent. You fill your plate, but you rarely savor every bite. LaserDisc, by contrast, is a sit-down, chef's tasting menu at a beloved, perhaps slightly eccentric, restaurant. The menu is smaller, more curated, and the pacing is deliberate. You won't find everything you could ever want, but what you do find are flavors, textures, and presentations you simply can't get anywhere else. It's an experience designed for appreciation, for savoring. If you crave movies that stay truly yours, pictures untouched by the harsh math of digital compression, and audio big enough to genuinely flex your speakers and immerse you in the film's world, then maybe, just maybe, it's time to consider a different path. Perhaps it's time to hit up a local thrift store, browse some online marketplaces, and thrift a player. Let some pure, unadulterated analog light bounce around your living room. Your Wi-Fi can take the night off. It deserves a break from all that buffering. Your couch, your remote, and your new old giant silver disc are ready to roll. It's an invitation to a different kind of cinematic love affair.